Everyone, and welcome to the STPL. My name is Kix, and I'm solo casting today because, well, I am. It's all cool. It doesn't really matter. We are having an STPL show match once again today, so let's actually have a look. Well, I mean, I guess I can introduce a little bit more. It's a bit weird being solo casting, like, for the first time in a while, actually, but hopefully it goes okay. Obviously, we have a really cool show match coming up today. I guess the only thing really left for me to do is introduce who the teams are and what maps we're going to see. So let's actually head on over to the overlay and let's take a look. So on the left-hand side, we do have mSj, or mSj for short. They are one of our new teams for STPL Round 3. This is, of course, a Round 3 show match. And their opponent's going to be the stalwart FBW. They were in Round 1. Then in Round 2, they rebranded to 9th Team. And they're back here once again in Round 3 as FBW. A lot more players able to join them for this round due to the later playing time, which really helped them out. There's a lot of North Americans in this team. They've done a fairly good job throughout both rounds. I mean, last round, it shows they got no stats, but they were playing... Either way, they played in round 1. I've not quite flipped over the database yet, so all the stats are a little bit funky, but you can see that their Zerg have had the most success, closely followed by their Protoss Terran. But I guess Terran has the most success. 1 win, 1 loss, 50% win rate. But mSj were a very strong team in the first week of show matches, and it'd be cool to see them here against FBW. As we look at the maps, we're going to see Katrina SE on set 1. Set 2 is going to be Sin Peaks of Baekdu. Set 3 is Coliseum 2. Set 4 is Athena 2. And set 5 is going to be Neo Ground Zero if we do make it to that ace match. And let's have a look at the matchups for today. We're going to have Dreamer versus Ty2. Ty2 has actually left FBW now. I believe he joined Naz, so he is going to be joining them for round 3, but he did play his last game for FBW here. Again, Dreamer, a very good Protoss player as of the previous show match. Not too sure how he's going to do here today. We're going to have a P versus E between LIR and Faust. Now Faust known for his very weird builds, so whether or not he's going to do that here, we'll have to find out on Sin Peaks of Baekdu, one of his favourite maps. Oh, he's gone to Seoul, sorry, Seoul. Okay, and then Tailspin is going to play against the legendary TT1 on Coliseum 2. That should be an amazing game. TT1, a little bit of a wild card. He doesn't really play in too many tournaments, but he's very, very knowledgeable. Has taken games off of very good players, and I'm really excited to have him playing here in the STPL in round 3. And then we're going to have a PvZ between Jedi 1 and Lumire. Now Jedi 1 had a very nice performance in the last show match for them, and let's see how he's going to do here today. Just to show obviously the player top 10 hasn't changed. The player top 10 will be the same. Obviously it's going to improve upon, but you can see Yeti miles ahead of the competition. The stores today will not count towards this, but of course they are just here for your reference. Yeti, Famasi, Dandy, Ku, Cryot, Koga, Bai, Ho, Dragon and Tech, all there in the top 10, so a lot of really good players. And let's see if people like TT1, people on mSj, people like Faust and Ty2 as well, let's see if they can make their way onto this player table in round 3. But let's introduce our first 2 players for today. For mSj, we're going to have Dreamer. Now Dreamer, of course, doesn't have any stats. He's only played in a show match so far. Same as Ty2 actually. So Ty2 donning his yellow sock shirt for the last time in this game, or this match even. Let's see if that's actually going to work out for him. Is Ty2 going to be able to bring the wins in for FBW, known in the foreign scene as the Cheese Prince? Of course, the Cheese King being Michael. Michael hasn't been as active recently, but Ty2 has certainly been a lot more active recently, doing really well for himself, did really well in the Pro Series, and also has just joined Seoul as well. So, I mean, of course, for FBW, it's going to be a big loss for them, but hopefully in their show match here, he's going to put in a good performance. Dreamer, I must admit, I don't know too much about. I know he's played for a long time. I've seen him on ladder at least a good number of times back in like the IC Cup days. He cheesed me a hell of a lot because he is Protoss. And IC Cup is like, I don't know, I'm pulling a face of like PTSD right now thinking about playing against the mSj players. But hopefully they're going to give us some good games throughout the STPL as well. So let's have a look at our map for today. Our first map for today even. It's going to be Katrina SE. It does come from the 2008 Shinhan Bank Pro League. A very, very fun, interesting maps. The spawns are actually in 12, 3, 6, and 9. The natural expansions are actually behind the main choke, so obviously there's a lot of land for the mains and naturals, but there's still it's still quite hard to defend, especially against drops as you get later into the game. There's this weird kind of crisscross pattern as you move through the more circular pattern, I guess. Kind of hard to follow it, but this is one of my favourite maps, I think, to play on. Lots of fun for all the races. Now, we don't have any games played on this map so far in round 3, hence the lack of stats. But this should be a great first game to start us off with. So let's head on into the game and let's get started with the first game between mSj's Dreamer and Foreign Brood Wars Ty2. And starting us off here in the 12 o'clock position, we do have in the teal, fighting for mSj, it's going to be Dreamer. And here's where, if we're in a live studio, I'd cut to a picture of his face, but unfortunately I can't do that. And down here in the 6 o'clock position, we do have, in the purple, as our Zerg player, it's going to be Ty2. Fighting for Foreign Brood War. Now, as I was saying, Katrina is one of my favourite maps. It's not exactly the most difficult map to stay alive on two bases. I mean, if you have a look here, the main ramp is very, very big, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Because if you look back here, you do have this power generator that does help you make a wall here. You can wall with your Nexus as well. Obviously, PvZ slightly different from the Terran matchups. Terran can actually wall off with like a barracks, a factory, and 2 depots if they need to. But very, very cool map. I know in the 9 and 3 o'clock spawns are slightly different. The wall is a little bit easier to make. But this isn't too bad. Like, it's not the easiest map to wall off on, but certainly doable for Protoss, for Zerg and CVP as well. And of course you do have that option of going for a very quick, fast expansion. And now Ty2 is known as one of the more unpredictable players, I'd like to say. He's certainly got a bag of builds of his own, very much the foreign shine in that regard. Very, very hard to play against him. You never really know what he's going to do. He's been playing a lot more standard recently. In a lot of the tournaments, he's really picked up that standard play. And if anything, that actually helps him out a lot more. Now, it looks like he's going to play standard here as well. He's gone for that 12... Oh, sorry, that was a... I think that was a 12 pull in... No, that must have been a 9 pull into a 12 hatch, sorry. This is where Rapid's usually here to, like, make sure I don't miss anything. And I mean, you can see this is quite a good wall already. Gonna see the gateway coming in here, using that power generator to help wall off. And you should have this gap here to hold off on. We're gonna have the probes scouting out absolutely everything. Seeing this hatchery is gonna be... Oh, Dreamer didn't actually go far enough to see the hatchery. This could be a big, big mistake by him. This could be a little bit of map inexperience coming into play. And it looks like he is going to go back and double check. He knows that there should be a hatchery at this point, and it's very important he sees it. And there we go, he will see it eventually. So he's going to be feeling pretty good about that. But in the meantime, we do have Dreamer going for his own expansion. So very standard builds from both of our players. Now Ty2, interestingly, opting to go for not another main. He's going to take this third base in the middle of the map, does get you that extra gas. Not that far away from your main and natural ramp, so kind of easy to hold on to, especially for Zerg. And it does sort of block off this path, and sort of block off this path as well, which is a really good attack path for the Protoss player to take into the Zerg bases. So I'd say that's a good strategical choice by Ty2 here. Now Ty2, no major gripes with playing on weird maps. I mean, he plays weird styles on normal maps, so... And Katrina realistically isn't all that crazy. You have the standard 3 gas setup that you can get very easily. Admittedly, it's a little bit harder than something like Fighting Spirit, of course, because the ramps are slightly bigger. But we are going to see back in the Protoss base the core coming up. Nothing too interesting to see realistically. Going to add a second cannon just to be sure that he doesn't get Ling all in. There is quite a few Lings over here. But Ty2 should be going into his lair fairly soon. We should actually see that pop up when he gets the right resources. I mean, he could go into a Hydralisk den, but... Oh, okay, so he has. Ignore everything I just said. Ty2 is going for 3 Hatch Hydra. Now, how many drones does he have? 6 it is natural, going to be 7, going to be 8. So he is going to take this into a macro game. He's not going to go crazy 3 Hatch Hydra all in. But it is possible that he will add on at least a few Hydras. Try and pressure this relatively flimsy ball. See if he can do some damage. Now we do see a decent number of cannons coming with him. Do we see a Stargate? Yes we do. Stargate play from Dreamer as well. And this is sort of the downtime in the game where we just sort of figure out what both players are going to do. Ty2 going to go into his Hydralisk upgrades, nothing too crazy there. Now one thing to note about Katrina is it does have, oh, it's actually 9 mineral patches. I for some reason thought it was 10. But it is 9 mineral patches in the main, so standard in that regard as well. Even the third has 7 mineral patches, so quite a healthy third. The natural with 7 as well. So, and interestingly, unlike a lot of the maps where the natural is in the back of the base, we do see a 5,000 gas there. So no smaller gases anywhere on this map. There is some mineral-only bases, but this is going to be a big moment. Can Ty2 make anything happen with this Hydralisk bus? We haven't seen a scout go out for Dreamer in a very long time, and this Corsair is not going to see it. It does see a couple of Hydralisks, but this could be a little bit too little too late. He's going to add on another cannon. He's going to need a couple more, and these Zealots are going to be worth their weight in gold. He's going to have to use these to try and delay as long as possible. The more Hydralisks get up here, the more trouble he's going to be in without any cannons. And there we go, looks like he's going to dive on top of the Hydralisk with the Zealots. Is this going to be enough to hold on for now? The cannons are almost finished warping in. The Zealots have done a valiant job so far, but the cannons a little bit far back. I mean, there's not really too much choice. You are kind of blocking yourself in wherever you build cannons here. And there we go, looks like Ty2 has found a weakness in the wall. He's going to run up. He doesn't quite manage to snipe off that first cannon though. And the Hydralisk attack, a couple of them actually running into the cannons and dying. They're a little bit unfortunate. The Corsair going to be able to go to work on some of these Overlords. It's going to scout the lair coming in as well. So he knows this isn't majorly all in by Dreamer. That's kind of important. But Ty2 is certainly an interesting character. We're going to have the Templar Archives, the extra gateway coming in as well. We're going to kind of go a little bit more back to normality now. Because Ty2 didn't build that many Hydralisks, he did saturate his bases pretty well as well. That wasn't an all-in from him, that was just a little bit of pressure. Now Ty2 of course going to be forced to add on a few creep colonies. He knows there are going to be a lot of +1 speed zealots coming his way soon. He didn't really trade too well with them. And there is going to be 2-3 gateways worth of production coming in very, very shortly. Now Zealot speed should have just finished, unless he's decided to skip it for whatever reason, which would be very, very strange. This Corsair getting a good number of kills. Yeah, Zealot speed has finished. Now what are we going to see here from Ty2? There is up. Spire should be going up fairly shortly after this. Does need to make sure to get at least some Scourge. The Hydralisk range only now actually being started. That's kind of surprising by Ty2. Now, of course, he is a little bit supply blocked, and Dreamer not going to go and attack with his +1 Zealots. He's just going to secure a 3rd base. Now, if there was one game I thought would end very, very quickly in this series, it would be this one. But we are going to see a macro game. We're going to see the Forge upgrading +2. Templar Archives will be getting Storm very, very shortly. Just I click that, it starts. So good timing if I do say so myself. No speed on the Overlords just yet. But we do see the Evo Chamber coming in. Still no Spire, but Lurker Aspect being upgraded from Ty2. And other than that, just kind of everything looks pretty normal. I mean, we're going to see Dreamer try and poke in once again with his Corsair. Gonna see that this base is fully saturated. Gonna see the gas is mining more importantly. And he'll see the sunken colony count. Now, it's not do or die here for him. Now, of course, if you've not seen this map before, it does have a little bit of an interesting layout. There's a very short push path between these 2/3, and it looks like Ty2 gonna make use of that, building a lot of Hydralisks. He should have +1 coming in from that Evo chamber he just built, but of course Dreamer is going to have to hold on to this 3rd base. If he does lose the 3rd, it's not the end of the world, but it's going to be kind of difficult for him to expand again, at least into another gas base. Now, of course, he's not going for this, but Storm isn't quite ready. He doesn't have any high total. He does have 2, so he's going to have to wait for this Storm upgrade to finish, and it looks like it just did. So, I mean, he should be fairly safe right about now. But Ty2 just still putting on this pressure, just making it a little bit more uncomfortable for Dreamer. Gonna force some extra cannons, maybe try and force him to throw some storms, but this is going to be a big moment. Dreamer has decided to go into a Dark Templar. He is going to try and move around, didn't miss a very big storm there, so not really too much to write home about. But this DT is going to try and find its way around. There's absolutely no detection in the main as well, so if Dreamer does send that over to the main, this could be very, very dangerous, but looks like he's going to try and get the other one. Now, this is another interesting thing about this map. You have this back path behind this 3rd, and this could be very, very dangerous for Dreamer. He does not know these units there. You can see that Ty2 has hit them very, very well. He would have just seen them now on the minimap. How is he going to react? There's still, of course, a lot of cannons up here, but he's going to get lurkers in between the 3rd and the natural. There we go, a nice storm on top of the ramp, going to be doing a lot of damage. A nice storm on that Hydralisk as well. 5 kills on that one. Now, interestingly, there's no detection as of yet, so these lurkers on the ramp going to be blocking reinforcements, going to be blocking Dreamer from sending anything else. Meanwhile, Ty2 is streaming more and more units across. I'm still keeping an eye on that DT to see if it goes into the main, but oh no, this could be a mistake. Stop shooting the power generator. I mean, it's going to die eventually anyway, but that's going to give lurkers a quicker path up to your stuff, so that's a bit dangerous. But it looks like the lurker's going to try and take down this gateway first, and here we go. The first Corsair does go down. Now, do we have an observatory? Yes, we do. So there should be obs coming in very soon. Looks like we have a shuttle going in for a storm drop. Now, he is going to go past Ty2's units, but oh, this could be quite dangerous. The shuttle is flying into the Hydras now. This is very, very dangerous. Looks like Ty2 hasn't realized, and the shuttle should manage to get in. There's not that much defense. Here we go. He's going to drop. Gets a storm off. No kills, though. Oh, there's 1 kill on lava. Great reactions by Ty2 there. And it looks like Ty2 going to try and push in the front. Is there enough cannons back here? Obviously, there's not that many units back here to defend. The Zealots running in to a meat grinder on those lurker spines. And that's a little bit of a whiff storm. Does manage to just about hit the lurker. But it's a dangerous, dangerous position for Dreamer to be in. He's still, of course, alive. There's nothing too dangerous. Looks like he's going to have to kill one of his own cannons to get out. We do have obs out here finally. But this DT's still not really doing too much. It's not gone into the main. He's missed a big opportunity there. And Ty2 is coming in with more and more units. Another cannon. It's almost like he's playing tower defense. And here we go. Couple of nice storms coming down. 8 kills on this High Templar. Can he get another one? There's another Templar with energy. He's got enough for 2 storms. He's not storming. There's one, but he doesn't get the other one off. That's going to be a huge, huge loss. But it looks like Ty2 has broken the ramp for now. There's units getting into his third. This Lurker going to be able to go to town on at least this one mineral patch. So that's very, very bad for Dreamer, who finds himself completely contained in his base against all these Lurkers. He's trying to add a lot of Dragoons. But Dragoons on their own aren't that great against a lot of what Zerg offers. Of course, there's no Lings here to take advantage of that, and we don't see any Hive coming in either. So it's all going to be down to this army to try and delay the Protoss as long as possible. Interestingly, Ty2 hasn't tried to get a 4th base just yet. Not too sure why, but that is very much Ty2 style. He wants to end the game pretty quickly. Now he's going to try and run past the cannons. So I'm not sure I really agree with that, but he does get on top of them. And this 3rd base looks like it could have had enough. He's got, oh, he lost the High Templar with full energy. He could have survived, but it looks like the 3rd base is going to go down. And our Dreamer's hopes going to go down with them. I'm not so sure, but we're about to find out. Dreamer going to try and push his way out. The Dragoons, I don't think have range just yet. That seems very weird, and GG! Dreamer taps out against Ty2 as his 3rd base goes down. And that's going to bring us to the end of our first game of today. I mean, that was a very well played game by Ty2. Of course, Dreamer kind of got stuck between a rock and a hard place. He couldn't secure his own ramp. And when he couldn't reinforce his 3rd base, that was just the end of the game for him, unfortunately. But great aggression by Ty2. He believes in his aggression as well, and that's one of the most powerful tools that he has. As when you're being aggressive, you have to think it's going to work, and certainly that did. Now, he played a very risky strategy. He didn't go for a 4th base. He didn't really have that much detection or any defense against DTs. But unfortunately for Dreamer, he just couldn't find an opening, and Ty2's macro eventually overpowered him. So, very fun game between those two, and I'll be back in just over a minute. See you guys very